I'm Tracy Berry. Tonight at 11, it's an expectant mother's dream and the hit of a local shop, pickled flavored ice cream. The story on News 8.
PM Magazine. Michael J. Fox was third choice for his role in Family Ties. He's just one of many Hollywood casting coups. Look at those twists of fate that made a difference.
To say what you look for is like asking you to tell me, how does something taste?
Then we'll take a step back to old Hollywood where the screen test could make or break a star. And we'll get a rare peek at an early audition of Marilyn Monroe.
Those gorillas find you here. What happens to them? Nothing. They're just going to leave them alone?
And our Spoil Yourself series continues when we find out the secrets to good health. It's called Spa Cuisine from the exclusive La Costa Hotel and Spa. Tonight we're celebrating the Northwest with a visit to the Golden Hind, a replica of the boat sailed by Sir Francis Drake.
And welcome to this Tuesday here on PM Magazine. I'm Jack McGowan.
And I'm Elaine Busby. As we said, this is the Golden Hind, a replica of the boat that was sailed by Sir Francis Drake. It's commemorating his first voyage to California in 1578.
And 400 years later, a group of business people got together, and now it plies the ocean waters once again. Great to see.
Fantastic.
Well, there's been a lot of movies made about ocean, voyages and all, and movies and television programs and radio and everything else. And there's a lot of people that get all those things together. There's a producer, the director, the best boy, the grip. There's someone else that has a very big, a very important role, but is rarely mentioned, and that is the casting director.
I thought maybe for a minute we were talking about the key gaffer. Now, the casting director is that very important person who picks the stars of tomorrow.
To movie audiences all over the world, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but Steven Spielberg first cast Tom Selleck, and it was only Magnum P.I. that kept Tom from playing the dashing hero. Meryl Streep was perfect for her role in Kramer vs. Kramer, right? But Kate Jackson had the part first and left to honor a TV commitment. The film Urban Cowboy made Deborah Winger a star, but her role was originally written for Sissy Spacek, who had to back out. On such twists of fate hang the fortunes not only of actors, but of Hollywood's top casting directors, like Jane Feinberg. With partner Mike Fenton, Jane has cast many of Hollywood's biggest movies like E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Aliens. The role of the casting director today is much more prominent than in the past.
In the old days, actors were under contract. They had a pool of actors to choose from. The studios were building stars. It doesn't happen that way anymore. So it is our job to make the producer and director aware of who is going to be the future stars. That's our job, to cover the theaters, cover the movies, meet actors.
NBC casting executives Joel Thurm and Lori Openden oversee the casting of all their networks' primetime programming. They've held open calls like this for child performers all over the country, and they, too, closely watch movies, plays, even commercials, looking for actors with something that's hard to describe.
To say what you look for is like asking you to tell me, how does something taste?
I used to work for an agent who called it that X quality, that unknown quality, something that if I meet 20 actors in a day, one actor will stand out because he's got that inner charisma.
It's also what happens when one actor plays off another, as in Moonlighting.
The chemistry between Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd is probably right now the best on television. I think they're incredible together.
While ABC executives are happy to accept Lori's compliment now, at first they feared Bruce was too abrasive to win over a primetime audience.
They were having some problems hiring me because I didn't fit into their picture of what this guy was going to be, so we had to convince them.
The casting of Bruce Willis sort of sets the tone for all of us casting directors out there who think we can't find the new person who's that special, because Bruce Willis was an unknown to a lot of us.
Corbin Burnson, who plays Arnie Becker on L.A. Law, is a more typical case of an actor unknown to the public, but not the casting people.
I saw him 5 years ago, and he was a model. He wanted to act, but he wasn't ready yet. He walked out of the office and he read very badly, but I made a little note. Looks great, check next year. Next year, saw him again, and he had learned to walk and talk at the same time.
Okay, look, I will talk to Brackman. I'll see what I can do.
couple of years later, along comes L.A. Law, and they said, well, do you know a guy named Corbin Bernsen? And I laughed. I said, yeah. They said, well, that's who we think we want for Arnie Becker. And that was the best moment of my life last pilot season. You know, by having faith in someone and just watching him come along.
How much responsibility do filmmakers give casting? The very first credit at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark shows the importance it's given.
When we did Chinatown, Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, and John Huston were already cast. So we had to go about and cast all the other parts. When we did Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson was not cast. So we had to start from the lead all the way down to all the other characters. Depends if it comes with a package or not. We read the script, we make lists from the star right on down. We go over the names with the producer and director. They narrow that list down to the ones that they're most interested in, and then it's our job to find out what they cost, what their availability is for the project, and what their interest is in the project.
Sometimes the casting we're most shaky about turns out to be the stars or the most popular characters, such as Michael J. Fox in Family Ties. Michael was like the third choice for the role of Alex on Family Ties, and everybody was very nervous about it. Nobody, when he auditioned, it wasn't like, that's it, we know it, and let's go for it. Everybody was very nervous about the decision. On Hill Street Blues, Daniel Travanti was cast very much at the last minute. Turned out to be a big part of the success of the show.
We were doing Miami Vice. No one really wanted Don Johnson. I mean, Don Johnson was like, well, all right, you know, is there anybody else? And fortunately, there wasn't.
If it seems like the art of casting is pretty hit and miss, you're getting the idea. The success of the casting director lies somewhere between luck and logic.
And you don't know what it is, and you can't define it, and you can't say to actors, go out and get it. This is what you got to do. It's that inner quality.
Talk about that inner quality. In the movie Casablanca, the role of Rick originally was supposed to go to Ronald Reagan. He turned it down, and that's why Humphrey Bogart got the part.
I can't hear Ronald Reagan saying, play it again, Sam. It just doesn't work for me. Also, another interesting one, Michael J. Fox, who was in Steven Spielberg's Back to the Future. Well, Spielberg originally wanted Fox to be in it. Fox had contractual obligations with Family Ties. He couldn't do it. Spielberg picked a guy named Eric Stoltz to do it. After a couple of weeks, he realized Stoltz wasn't right for the part, pleaded with Family Ties to let Michael J. Fox do it. He did, and there you go.
I wonder what's happened to Eric since then. Coming up next, the screen test that gave these stars their start.
There are so many ways to tell Mom she's loved with a gift from the Fred Meyer Mom's Day sale. Save 25% on pretty sleepwear, pajamas, and summer loungewear. Save 20% on all Mrs. Summer dresses, or surprise her with the finishing touches, smart summer shoes and handbags at a special savings. Whatever her style, whatever she likes, you'll find a gift that's right for her during the Mom's Day sale, now through Sunday at Fred Meyer, the store for families who love selection, low prices, and one-stop shopping.
Listen, Toyota dealers across the country are gearing up for the biggest car sales event ever. It doesn't start till mid-May. But you know what? The cars are already here, thousands of them. So we're dealing now on the new lower-priced Camry, the new Tercel Coupe, the new lower-priced Tercel EZ, on everything. And prices for America's #1 selling import start around $5,800. Hey, you could wait till mid-May, or you could get down to your Toyota dealer today and get the right deal right now.
Hi, I'm the Ice Cream Angel, and I just created Heaven ice cream bars. What fun! First, I took rich premium ice cream, shaped it into a bar, then smothered it with smooth caramel, crunchy roasted peanuts, and covered it all in an extra thick chocolatey coating. And it tastes so good, I just had to call it Heaven.
New Heaven ice cream bars. They taste so good, we just had to call them Heaven.
Try one, and you'll call it Heaven, too.
Alcoholics go to great lengths to hide their illness, especially from their parents. If your child has a problem with alcohol or drugs, call the Adolescent Care Unit. We can help. Care Unit. Nobody cares the way we do.
Suri, we were talking about actors and actresses needing an inner quality, a certain charisma with the camera, and how do they discover that but through screen testing?
Well, it seems like screen tests maybe are a thing of the past. At least that's what some people are saying. But we're about to show you a very special screen test, among some other things, the original screen test by Marilyn Monroe.
If those gorillas find you here, what happens to them? Nothing? They're just going to leave them alone? What's the matter with you, Benny? You can't take such a chance.
This is the first Hollywood screen test by aspiring starlet Marilyn Monroe. If you were a casting director back then, could you have predicted her incredible stardom? What if you saw her in this commercial?
This is the first car I ever owned. I call her Cynthia. She's going to have the best care a car ever had. Put Royal Triton in Cynthia's little tummy.
Right, lady.
Cynthia will just love that Royal Triton.
Top casting director Jane Feinberg gave us her reactions.
I was surprised that I saw Marilyn Monroe as we know her. I thought that would have come later, not from a test, but I think we saw a star there.
Go ahead. It won't be the first time I've been worked over today. I'm getting used to it.
I think she's just so special, and I think it came across in the commercial especially. The test was a little bit more phony, a little bit more pushed and forced, but it was still Marilyn.
MGM's famous search for the actress to play Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind put every starlet in Hollywood in front of the screen test cameras. Here, a very young Lana Turner tests with Melvyn Douglas playing Ashley.
I've struggled for food and for money. I've weeded and hoed and picked cotton and even plowed until I can't stand it any longer. I tell you, Ashley, the South is dead. It's dead.
Screen tests were far more common in the 30s than in Hollywood today.
I think the problems in tests is that it points out the bad more than it points out the good. You're seeing it quoted out of context. You're seeing a test just that particular scene. So that when she started to get dramatic, it appeared almost hammy. It did appear hammy. It's very hard to tell, is she right for the part?
Even though she was fresh from her Oscar-winning performance as Scarlett O'Hara, Vivien Leigh submitted to a screen test with new husband Laurence Olivier for David O. Selznick's next big picture, Rebecca.
Why do you say these things to me? You know I love you more than anything in the world. You are my father, my brother, and my son. All these things.
Why do you say these things to me? You know I love you more than anything else in the world. You're my father, you're my brother, you're my son, you're all of these things.
But it was Joan Fontaine who won the part of Rebecca, for which she received an Oscar nomination. Marlon Brando wanted the role of the Godfather so much that he shot his own screen test, stuffing cotton in his cheeks and affecting the voice that helped bring him an Oscar in 1972.
Usually on a test, let's say we're going to test 3 actors, none of the 3 will get the part, because they will see in one actor what they knew to be true, but this actor didn't have the ability, and then they'll see in another actor he has the ability, but maybe not the look, and then they'll see in the other actor who has them both, but maybe not the charisma. So all 3 will probably not get the part. It'll come in, as we say, with a dark horse.
The air of the golden age of Hollywood is gone from the screen test, and the unromantic truth is that no one today gets a job from a test.
It might interest you to know that Ronald Reagan, when he was trying out for the part of George Gipp, win one for the Gipper and all that, well, he really wanted that part. The producers were thinking about someone else that would fill the role. So Reagan, in his effort to persuade them to use him for that part, brought in some old football snapshots of him in his college days in the football uniform, crazy old football helmet that they wore in those days.
And that's how he got the part.
Convinced them. You got it.
Fantastic. Well, we have been visiting the Golden Hind, and one of the fascinating aspects has been meeting with this young lady, Julie Francis, who is the PR director.
Hello.
Hi. Julie is from Hampshire, England. She's been sailing with the Golden Hind since it has been out on its cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Julie, what are we going to see on the Golden Hind? It's an exact replica of Sir Francis Drake's boat.
That's right, yes. And you can see all the various aspects of life aboard a ship 400 years ago, and a ship that was really going out to fight for gold and travel around the world.
Interesting.
Up to 100 people were jammed on board the ship.
Where would they sleep?
90 of them would have been sleeping on board in the gun deck, which has a very low headroom, and forward of the gun deck would have been where the chickens and pigs and any food that was carried on board.
All in one room.
all on one very low deck area.
But remember, only 120 feet long. That's extraordinary. Now, everyone else slept together except Sir Francis Drake. He had his own cabin, his own quarters. Is that right?
That's right, yes. He had to keep himself slightly apart from the rest of the crew.
Uh-huh.
One thing that is of interest to people is, of course, in those days, everyone thought the world was flat. There were very few people that believed the world was round, because Drake was only the second person to circumnavigate the world.
I see.
And there were also a lot of sea monsters out there and various other nasty beasties. And so on board were a couple of knight's heads, which would have kept away these evil sea monsters and saved the sailors' lives from any dangers that might have been out there in the deep.
What are the school children most fascinated by on board?
I think the cannons and the firing and all the nasty, gory bits.
And you said they brought on extra crew members because so many would die off during the trip.
That's right. That's why there were up to 100 people on board the ship.
Fascinating. Well, Jilly, thank you very much for joining us, for giving us a little bird's-eye view there of the Golden Hind. And we'll be right back in a moment with a taste of the good life.
I swear I'm in Mexico when I sample Weight Watchers burritos, tender flour tortillas filled with beefsteak or chicken, brightened with beans and peppers and spices, or Weight Watchers enchiladas, hearty corn tortillas filled with beef or chicken or cheeses, surrounded by the sauciest of sauces. Weight Watchers' exciting new Mexican entrees transport me south of the border. Esto es vivir.
Leading independent consumer publication torture-tested 32 mattresses for durability, lasting firmness, and value. This one came out #1, the Beauty Rest by Simmons. And now you can have all the comfort and quality of a Beauty Rest at an exceptional value. Our Beauty Rest Classic is available for a limited time only.
The Beauty Rest by Simmons, now on sale at Smith Home Furnishings.
Hi, Brian Mann here, conducting a blind taste test to prove that people prefer Skipper's $2.99 seafood baskets to the ever-popular burger, sir. This'll just take a minute. Now, which one would you dip in tartar sauce?
This one.
Which one would you choose if you had nothing but hamburgers for 8 weeks?
This one.
Skipper's shrimp, clam, or oyster baskets with fries and coleslaw at the special price of $2.99 each. They're everybody's choice.
Don't forget to take off your blindfolds, people.
Near misses in the air. Who's at fault? Is it the pilots of private planes or air traffic controllers? Tomorrow in a special report, you'll get answers as Channel 8 News at 5 takes you flying. Then travel inside China to a remote countryside. See how peasants farm the land without the benefit of modern machinery. Special reports, up-to-the-minute stories. Channel 8 News consistently brings you understandable news coverage. See for yourself tomorrow on Channel 8 News at 5, the team that works for you.
The part of the ship that you're looking at right now is called the Fighting Top. It's located on the forward mast, and it's an area where people manning crossbows would be firing on opposing ships in the hopes of taking over the ship, grabbing the bounty, going back happy people.
We're standing on the foredeck right over the forecastle of the ship. You talk about getting the bounty from the other ships. A lot of times that was jewels and gold and silver. Also, it included food, because that was scarce out at sea.
They needed food. This was extraordinary. A lot of times the sailors below deck, the only thing they would exist on would be a meat, water type of porridge, sometimes not even cooked, just let the bones steep in the water, and that was their main source of nourishment.
Yeah, they suffered a lot from scurvy in those days, with the lack of vitamin C. These days, it seems like we have just the opposite trouble. We have to go to special places just to diet off those extra pounds. I recently had the chance to visit La Costa Hotel and Spa and found out all about their spa cuisine. La Costa Hotel and Spa, a spendy, trendy spot in Southern California where the good life begins. La Costa is a mecca for health-minded individuals, and whether your game be tennis, golf, aerobics, or scoring a few rays, you can't do it any more stylishly than here. La Costa is regarded by many to be the spa that spawned all spas. Health styles for the rich and famous originate here and become the latest trends for the rest of us. What's hot from La Costa right now is spa cuisine.
Bon appetit, Mr. Green.
Oh, thank you. That looks beautiful.
Spa cuisine is the latest culinary art to attract our taste buds. At La Costa, they like to describe spa cuisine as eating with your eyes. The portions aren't big, but they are beautiful. Depending on which spa plan you choose, La Costa will keep your intake between 800 and 1,200 calories a day. The trick to keeping you satisfied on so little is to spread those calories out over many courses, so by the end of the meal, you'll feel full.
Well, it takes 20 minutes for your stomach to send the signals to your brain, and the satiety center in your brain, to say, I'm satisfied, I'm full, I feel good. And most people eat way too fast, so that's one of our tricks here, is to serve each course, the meal, a course at a time. So we start out with
Head spa dietitian Marla Wright is in charge of concocting the spa meals, which begin, of course, at breakfast. Here's a sample menu. Huevos rancheros. They bake the tortilla, use 1 egg white, low-fat cheese, and salsa. It's 200 calories. Whole wheat pancakes with fruit-sweetened strawberry glaze, 150 calories for both. Only 100 calories in this dish. They call it their extra special. 3 egg whites filled with a sour cream substitute, whipped cottage cheese, and chives. The portions may seem small at first, but you'll be eating plenty during the day.
Another technique we use and we teach our spa guests is to eat frequently throughout the day. That way they're getting the maximum energy level and their food is more likely to be burned as energy instead of stored as fat.
The idea of eating many small meals doesn't mean you'll miss out on dinner. Begin your meal with a marinated mixed vegetable salad. The marinade is rice vinegar and pineapple juice. It's a mere 30 calories. Next, savor some poached lobster tail. Eliminate the drawn butter, serve with the tomato sauce, and you're down to 150 calories for 3½ ounces. Finish your courses with a red, white, and blueberry parfait. Only 40 calories for this treat made with gelatin and low-cal whipped topping.
Sometimes you hit some things that are pretty bland, and but you get used to it, and it's a matter of acquiring the taste for less highly seasoned and rich foods.
Spa cuisine is flavorful. You just have to know the tricks. This chicken Diablo is only 150 calories. The calories are taken out of the sauce. We got a quick tip on how to do that from one of La Costa's head chefs. Shane thickens his sauces with corn or tapioca starch instead of flour and butter. 1 teaspoon is only 12 calories.
And then while it's boiling, always while it's boiling, you add your either cornstarch or tapioca starch or even arrowroot. They're all basically the same.
An idea of a portion sometimes gets all the way out of proportion. And when you come here, you see that really you don't need so much of one thing. And what they do here is they give you a lot of things. You get a taste of everything.
That's really the idea behind spa cuisine. You get a taste of everything, a little at a time. And at La Costa, half the art of cooking is in the presentation. Their food looks too beautiful to eat and drink.
How many calories are in this drink?
There are 40 calories per glass, and this is 99.9% alcohol-free.
Cheers to your good health and to spa cuisine. If most meals look this tempting, we'd be toasting them too. As you can see, half the art of spa cuisine is really in the presentation. They told me that they try to make the food look too beautiful to eat. This summer, the meals will be available on a mail-order basis, and if you'd like some more information, you can contact the dietitian Marla Wright. Coming up next, more from the Golden Hind and a preview of tomorrow night's show.
A moment of truth on the next all-new episode of Fame. Saturday at 7 on Channel 8.
Well, there's a lot of historical facts that are contained in the replica of the Golden Hind. One more for you. The original crew was 110. By the time Sir Francis Drake and the crew came back to England, there was only 70 people left. They were quite wealthy, needless to say, when they divided the spoils. Queen Elizabeth kept her share, which amounted to part of the crown jewels.
And if you'd like some information on the show tonight or any night of the week, give us a call. We have a viewer information line, a pre-recorded message at 226-5031. Right now, let's take a look at some of the stories you'll be seeing tomorrow night on our show.
Our Spoil Yourself Week continues with a makeover. Meet the lucky couple who won our PM Magazine makeover to Beverly Hills, California. See the before and after. It's a fantasy come true.
Then inquiring minds want to know what the Phantom Reviewer is up to. Join him at Alessandro's. Maybe he'll take his hat off.
And we love our gossip, but the British beat all when it comes to dishing dirt in the daily tabloids. See what England's inquiring minds are dying to know from their top rags.
We would hope that everything we say in the paper is true.
Plus, when no one would give this filmmaker a break, he got creative.
You do take Visa? I think we could do business.
He made a movie by charging it.
You should see our makeover couple tomorrow night also. They went to Jose Hiber's down in California, and wow, were they impressed.
We made
and
some happy people.
We did.
Also, our thanks go here to the folks on the Golden Hind, a group of dedicated individuals. The Golden Hind will be in Portland May 8th through June 15th. So you have plenty of opportunity. Come down to River Place right on the Willamette and see the Golden Hind.
It'll be a great addition to the Rose Festival.
Sure will.
Good night.
Good night now.
Travel arranged through PSA. This summer, come fly to the sun and fun of Southern California on the airline which pioneered low fares in the West. PSA, catch our smile.